Hello again. I may have mentioned before how a ship, and I worked on a few of them, will have usually a number and a name. And if you take that number and the name off the ship still exists at sea. The challenge, of course, for organizations who want to know about shipping, identifying the ship becomes very difficult, because if a call goes out, what ship are you? We are just a ship. Doesn't mean anything, right? It has to have a name, probably has to have a number, and it has to have a flag of origin in order to be identified. And for the policies then to flow into how to dock and what dock you can go into, and berths and clearance and so on. It's the same with us when we are docked or berthed. Some people use those terminologies. I don't know if that makes any sense, but when we come into the world, in order to be identified, there's always it's like a holy trinity of identifiers. There's name, date of birth, and office within the post office, address. Are you addressed within the post office? Without those, we still exist, living, breathing entities, but it's very difficult. It's not possible to account for that existence. There is an accounting system, right? I used to think that country came from countery, but I don't think it actually does in etymology anymore. But it's good for it's a good connection to see it in a way, because there are departments within governments that are accounting departments, they're called, to count the numbers of individual officers within the territory. It's usually called the census department. In fact, census bureaucrat came to the door the other day, and I told him I don't usually entertain peddlers at the door, and so on. And he finally went away, but they have to be able to, an organization that wants to run whatever it is, Walmart, whatever, there has to be an accounting system to know what's going on. There has to be an inventory taken once in a while. If you want to know exactly what's going on, check your numbers, right? Well, if you just have individual men and women, like what the Europeans saw when they came here with the Indians, running around, there's no way of accounting them. Just there's a guy running by there. But as soon as you have a name, a date of birth, and post office address, a way of addressing him through an office within the post. See, office, then there's a status, I guess, part of the status. Well, at least there's three things, because if there was 10 John Smiths, they probably wouldn't all live at the same place, and they probably wouldn't have the same date of birth. So that's another practical reason for having the three, right? It's like a three-legged stool. It gives it some stability. Just like the ship, it's got to have a name, it's got to have a number, it's got to have a flag of origin. Now, of course, for us later on, there's other numbers issued, and birth certificates, and well, that comes with the whole process of name, date of birth, and mailing address, post office address. But later on, there's social insurance number and driver's license number, and so on, as the rank, as more offices are occupied within that system. So just thought I'd mention that, in case there's any help, and I'll let anybody connect the dots as to how this improves the quality of our life experiences. Steve here again, great chatting. We'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.